I never expected to feel that way about Liam. Not after 10 years of friendship. Not after all the nights we spent crashing on each other's couches, half drunk and laughing over dumb inside jokes. Not after the relationships we'd both had. He was my best friend. My constant. My safe place. I never expected to look at him and feel desire. But that night changed everything. My name is Jordan. I've been with my boyfriend, Marcus, for almost 2 years. We live together in a small apartment downtown, split rent, shared Spotify, the whole thing. We used to be happy. Now we mostly orbit around each other in silence, like two tired satellites waiting for a collision. Sex is rare. Conversations are strained. He works late. I stay out longer just to avoid the tension. Liam's always been the one who saw through me. He knew when I was spiraling before I said a word. We met freshman year of college. He offered me his last slice of pizza at a party, and we've been inseparable ever since. He's the kind of guy who gets under your skin in the most disarming way. Sarcastic, messy-haired, casually gorgeous. The kind of beautiful that sneaks up on you until you're too close to look away. We never talked about attraction. We joked about it, sure. Guys like us can say you're hot and laugh it off. But something about the way Liam looked at me lately, it lingered. Like he was seeing something I hadn't admitted even to myself. It was a Thursday night when the tension broke its silence. Marcus was working an overnight shift. I didn't want to be alone. I texted Liam to come over and bring beer. He showed up in an old hoodie and gym shorts, hair still damp from a shower. I remember thinking he smelled like cedarwood and recklessness. We watched some dumb action movie and talked about nothing. Then everything. I don't think Marcus loves me anymore, I said quietly, halfway through my third beer. Liam looked over, eyes dark under the low living room light. Do you love him? The question hit harder than I expected. I hesitated. I don't know. Maybe not the way I used to. He didn't push. Just nodded. Took a sip. Let the silence settle. There was something about that silence that felt loaded. Charged. I could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. I could hear my own heartbeat. He shifted closer on the couch. I hate seeing you like this, he said, voice low. You deserve more than feeling like a ghost in your own relationship. I laughed bitterly. You make it sound so easy. It's not. But it's simple. You know what you need. You're just scared to take it. I turned to him. Our faces were too close. His eyes flicked to my mouth. I felt my breath catch. Liam. He didn't move. Neither did I. It wasn't a kiss. Not yet. But it could have been. He reached up slowly, his hand brushing the side of my face like he was reading permission in my skin. I should have pulled back. Should have reminded him, and myself, who we were. What we were risking. But all I could feel in that moment was the ache of wanting. Of being seen. Desired. He leaned in. I turned my face just enough to stop him. His lips grazed my cheek instead of my mouth. The moment snapped. The air deflated. I can't, I said, barely above a whisper. I have a boyfriend. Liam leaned back slowly, exhaling through his nose. Not angry. Not even surprised. Just disappointed. Maybe in me. Maybe in himself. Yeah, he said. Of course. Neither of us said anything after that. We sat in that heavy silence for what felt like hours, the TV playing something neither of us cared about. Eventually, he stood up. I should go. I nodded, eyes on the floor. I didn't trust myself to look at him. When the door clicked shut behind him, I let out a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. I wanted to call Marcus. Tell him I missed him. That I needed us to fix whatever we'd broken. But I didn't. I just sat there, alone, in the dim light, trying to ignore the way my skin still buzzed from Liam's almost touch. That night we didn't talk about what almost happened. But it changed everything. I didn't see Liam for 3 days after that night. It wasn't intentional avoidance. Not exactly. I told myself I was just busy. Work was hectic. Marcus was around more than usual. But the truth was simpler. I was afraid. Afraid that if I saw Liam again, I'd forget who I was trying to be. The guilt lingered like a bruise. Not from what had happened, but from how much I'd wanted more. Marcus had been oddly attentive, as if he sensed something shifting under our feet. He brought home my favorite takeout, rubbed my shoulders when he passed behind me on the couch. I hated how easy it was to accept that kindness while hiding what I felt. Worse, I hated that it felt like a performance, on both our parts. By Saturday night, the silence with Liam was unbearable. I texted him at midnight. "Me, you up?" Liam, always. "Me, come over." No punctuation. No emojis. Just blunt need, humming through the screen like static. He arrived in 20 minutes, hoodie zipped halfway up, eyes guarded. We didn't talk. I opened the door. He stepped inside. He looked at me like he was waiting for a signal. And I, weak, selfish, spiraling, gave it. I kissed him first. There was no hesitation. No build-up. Just hunger, urgent and wild, like something we'd both been denying for too long. His hands were on my waist, then under my shirt. Mine were in his hair, pulling him closer. Our mouths moved like they'd always known each other. It wasn't tender. It wasn't sweet. It was desperate. We stumbled to the bedroom, tearing at fabric like it offended us. Shirts hit the floor. My belt clanged against the hardwood. His skin against mine was hot, grounding, electrifying. I should have been thinking of Marcus, of consequences, of right and wrong. But in that moment, Liam's body was the only truth I could touch. He moaned my name like a confession. I gripped his hips like I needed to hold on to something real. We moved together in chaos, in heat, in a storm of want and regret waiting just beyond the edge. It didn't last long. When it was over, we lay tangled in sheets and silence. My chest rose and fell like I'd just survived something. Maybe I had. Liam turned his head, watching me through lashes still damp with sweat. "So, now what?" The question scraped against the inside of my skull. "I don't know," I said honestly. He sat up, pulled the sheets over his lap. "You can't pretend this didn't happen." "I'm not." He looked at me for a long time. "You didn't say no this time." "I didn't want to. That was the most dangerous truth of all." He nodded, chewing on the inside of his cheek like he always did when trying not to speak. "I didn't do this to ruin things for you," he said finally. "But I'm not sorry it happened. Neither was I. That's what terrified me. The guilt hit later, like a wave you see from a distance but can't outrun. When Liam left, I stood in the shower for almost an hour, scrubbing my skin like the water could erase what we'd done. It didn't. I saw Marcus the next morning, half asleep and mumbling about coffee. I watched him pour sugar into his mug and felt like a stranger. He didn't know. He wouldn't know, unless I told him. But I couldn't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Liam didn't text. Neither did I. The silence between us had a different weight now. It wasn't tension. It was aftermath. In the days that followed, I walked through my routines like a ghost. Everything was tinted with shame. Every touch from Marcus felt like a lie. Every memory of Liam felt like a betrayal wrapped in longing. I kept replaying it in my mind. The way Liam touched me. The way I wanted it. The way I didn't stop him. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't confused. I was just lost. And in that moment, Liam felt like a lifeline. But instead of pulling me out, he pulled me deeper in. What scared me most wasn't that I cheated. It was that I wanted to do it again. I didn't sleep for days after that night with Liam. Not because of guilt, at least, not only. It was everything. The silence, the aching weight of knowing I'd crossed a line I couldn't uncross, and the unbearable space growing between all three of us. Marcus still didn't know. But he sensed it. I could feel it in the way he looked at me, like he was watching someone vanish. His touch had softened into caution. His jokes were forced. His smile cracked at the edges. I was drifting, and he could see it. "You've been quiet lately," he said one morning over toast. "I've just been tired," I lied. He nodded, but I could see the disbelief in his eyes. I didn't have the strength to reassure him. My mouth knew how to speak love, but my body had already betrayed it. Liam, meanwhile, was a ghost. No texts, no calls. Just absence, sharp and intentional. I wanted to hate him for it, but I knew he was doing what I couldn't, giving us distance, space to regret. And I did regret it, but not the way I thought I would. I didn't regret the touch. I regretted the aftermath, the lies I was telling, the way I couldn't look Marcus in the eye for more than 5 seconds without seeing Liam's hands all over me. We finally spoke a week later. Liam texted, "Liam, can we talk?" I stared at the message for a long time. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Then I replied, "Yeah. Tonight?" We met at the park near our old college campus, neutral ground. I found him sitting on the bench we used to share during finals week, when we were younger, lighter, unbroken. He looked up when he saw me. Tired eyes. Shoulders tense. "Hey," he said. "Hey." We sat in silence for a minute. Then he spoke. "I'm not going to apologize for what happened. I meant every second of it." I looked away. "I know. But I also know I fucked everything up." I turned to him, bitter. "You think this is just on you?" He flinched. "No. I know it's not. I guess I hoped it meant something." "It did," I said too fast. "Then I regretted it." He looked at me. Really looked at me. "Then what are we doing, Jordan? You're still with Marcus. You're pretending nothing happened." "I'm not pretending," I snapped. "I'm trying to keep my life from falling apart." "Maybe it should." That shut me up. "I love you," he said suddenly, like it hurt. "I think I've loved you for years." My chest tightened. "Don't say that." "Why not?" "It's the truth. Because it makes this worse." He stood up, pacing now. "Do you love him?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Do you love me?" That question cut clean through me. "I don't know," I said again, softer. Liam ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. "You can't keep living in the middle of this. You're breaking all of us." He was right. And that truth burned more than any lie. I went home and sat in the dark. Marcus came in late, dropped his bag, leaned against the doorway. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded, but didn't speak. He came over and sat beside me on the couch. "I've been thinking," he said. "I don't think we're happy anymore." It wasn't a question. It was a quiet surrender. "I slept with Liam," I said, the words cracking as they left my mouth. Marcus froze. Then he stood. Walked to the window. He didn't yell. Didn't cry. He just stood there, staring into the night like it might offer an answer I couldn't give. "How long?" he asked, voice thin. "Once," I said. "But it was enough." He nodded slowly. "Yeah. It usually is." We didn't talk for the rest of the night. He packed a bag the next morning. "I won't ask you why," he said at the door. "I think I already know." When he left, it felt like the final thread snap. The apartment was too quiet. My phone buzzed once, Liam. I didn't answer. I just sat there, surrounded by the wreckage of what I'd broken, of who I'd become. Loving Liam was never part of the plan. But the moment I crossed that line, I stopped being the version of myself I could live with. And now? Now I was alone, with only the truth for company. 2 weeks. That's how long it took for everything to settle into silence. Marcus was gone. He didn't call, didn't ask for explanations. He simply vanished from the chapter we'd written together, and for that, I couldn't blame him. I shattered the trust he'd given me and turned our shared life into a mess of guilt, lies, and sweat-stained sheets that didn't belong to him. And Liam? He waited. Patient at first, like maybe I just needed time. Then less patient, less hopeful. "Liam, I need to know if this meant something to you." I stared at the message for hours before replying. It meant everything. But it broke me. It was the most honest thing I'd said in weeks. We agreed to meet one last time, not to fix what was broken, but to face it. to decide if the wreckage was worth rebuilding or if it was time to walk away. We met in his apartment this time. No movie. No beer. Just truth hanging thick in the air between us. He looked tired. Older. Maybe I did too. You look like shit, he said, half smiling. Thanks. So do you. He motioned to the couch. We sat on opposite ends. This wasn't supposed to happen, I said. But it did. And it wasn't just sex, I admitted. It was something more. I felt seen. Wanted. Alive. So then what? He asked. We just fall into this now? Pretend it wasn't born from betrayal. I shook my head. I don't want to build something on the ruins of someone else's heart. I cheated Liam. I lied to a man who loved me. And worse, I used you to feel whole. You didn't use me. I did. Not maliciously, but I did. He exhaled, hands folded between his knees. So what are you saying? I'm saying I need to figure out who I am without Marcus and without you. Because right now, I don't like the person I've become. His jaw clenched. You think pushing me away is the answer? I think dragging you into a half-healed version of me would be worse. The silence that followed was heavier than any argument. I love you, Jordan, he said. Quiet. Final. I swallowed. I think I might love you too. But not like this. Not yet. Maybe not ever. That was the goodbye we never said aloud, but it echoed louder than anything else. I walked out of Liam's apartment and didn't look back. For the first time in weeks, I chose to be alone, not to escape but to face the mess I made. I started therapy. I told my sister what happened. I didn't dress it up or seek pity. I just laid it bare, ugly and real. She listened. She didn't judge. She just asked me one thing. What will you do differently next time? The question stayed with me. Because I already knew the answer. I would never let silence grow where honesty should live. I would never confuse desire for clarity. And I would never cross a line with someone I wasn't willing to lose everything for. Loving Liam felt like a storm. Beautiful, wild, destructive. But storms leave behind more than wreckage. They leave space. Cleared ground. I don't know if I'll ever speak to Marcus again. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know if Liam will wait. I hope he doesn't. He deserves someone who can love him with a whole heart, not one bleeding from guilt. But I know this. I'll never be that careless again. Not with love. Not with trust. Not with the fragile skin of loyalty. This story isn't a love story. It's a lesson. I will never do this again, with my best friend or with anyone. Because some lines, once crossed, don't lead to freedom. They lead to who you really are beneath the lie. And I finally know who that is.